Okay, we are back with Ron Paulk discussing his design of the Mobile Woodshop. So Ron, the last time you'd mentioned that the design starts with finding places for the bigger tools. But as for the tons of smaller stuff surrounding that, did you have to sit down and categorize every single tool and item that you wanted to fit into the truck?
Again, I'd like to say I did that, but not really. After I had the big tools fixed in place, I looked at where the spaces where I had to work with and to not interfere with my workspace. Again, I'm working inside of the truck and I want to make sure that I have as much space to actually work. So a bench top, which also is the outfeed for the table saw. And so by looking around, I figured out where things would fit. And so I hung cabinets on walls, cabinets sat on the floor that held up the workbench. And I developed a drawer system, a simple dado and a half-inch bottom that slipped into those dados, and then the sides on the drawers were simply half-inch plywood, and I could make them as tall or short as I needed depending on the tools that I was storing in them.
Now, there are at least two approaches to designing a storage system. One is that you can have deep, dense, and sort of invisible storage, like with a filing cabinet. And the other approach is to have a broad, shallow, and highly visible system, like with tools on a pegboard. Can you talk about both approaches?
Yes, and I have both in my mobile woodshop. The drawers are like the filing system. I have tools in those, blades, saw blades, jigsaw blades. I use routing quite a bit in my business. And so I have a large selection of bits. And so I have a drawer that I open up, and I have foam inserts, and each bit is slipped into a hole in the insert so that I can keep them very organized, not only in what they do, the style of cut, but also the size of the shank, those kinds of things. And then another drawer with router attachments for specific needs for routing. So those are kind of the filing system. And then for the hand tools themselves, and hand tools in my vernacular includes power tools. So again, jigsaws and drills and those kinds of things. Those are out and visible. They're just in a cubby, so they're slipped in and I can grab one, two, or three. And I have a soft tool bag that as I'm stepping onto a job, I'll load it up with whatever tools I think I'm going to need to do that project.
And as for those cubbies for the power tools, I understand you designed in a good bit of flexibility. Can you tell us about that?
I realize that tools change. Sometimes tools fail and they have to be replaced. Sometimes just a better tool comes out and it's time to replace it. So I didn't want to build something that was so fixed that I would have to completely remodel it to put new tools in. So my system is very modular. The cubbies where the power saws, the jigsaws, the routers all go are an adjustable system. With very little effort, I can move dividers around and move tools around as I see the need.
Now, I noticed that all of your power tools are out of their individual boxes. Is there a reason for that?
Probably the biggest issue for me is getting every single tool out of the toolboxes. These days, tools come with plastic toolboxes, and a lot of contractors use them for their organization. I find that they get in my way. I want to see my tools. I want them visible. And in the truck, I don't want them tied down. I want it to be a very passive restraint so that I just can put my hand on the tool and lift it out and put it to work.
And speaking of which, for you viewers out there, Ron has designed something that you can put to work. Next episode, we'll be back with Ron and we'll discuss his accidental product design hit, the Paulk Workbench. I'm Rain No, signing off for Ron Paulk and Core 77 TV.